up, everyone? It's Turner Fan 77, and welcome to our first episode of Comic Talks. Sitting next to me virtually is my buddy David, aka the 4K Lowdown. Yeah, that way.
Point to you.
So how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man.
Thank you for
This
joining
this
me.
is cool. I'm excited, man. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, both of us are movie people. We love our physical media, but I also love comic books. So this is an opportunity for me to talk comics with David on a monthly basis. So we're just going to jump right into this. David, how long have you been reading comics?
Oh man. Well, I'm an old fart. You know me. So, um, gosh, I've been. I mean, I go back to like junior high. So early '80s.
Don't date yourself. Come on.
I mean, no, I don't mind dating myself.
No, I'm just
I
kidding.
am old.
Me too,
I'm
brother.
older than
Me too.
you. I'm older than anyone else. it's
Awesome.
they they have signs at stores going help this person if he comes into the store because he doesn't know where anything's at. Um, but no, yeah, since junior high it's been comic books, but I didn't really start like focusing on like one thing, be it one publication or one storyline until I was like in high school. And
Yeah,
then
me too.
it was like, oh wow. But I mean, basically when I lived in a small town and you just grabbed whatever comics they had. there was
That's so
no
funny. Me
there was
too.
no comic book store. It was you go to the grocery store and whatever comic books they had is what you grabbed and what you read.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
remember going to
yeah,
7-Eleven
yeah,
and getting them
that's
off the spinner rack. There's nothing better than buying comics off of a spinner rack.
yeah,
Twirl that bad
that's
boy up.
exactly what it was. Spin a
Man.
rack in the yeah. Only for me, it was the Three Rivers Market. Is was the only grocery store in town.
in
So
the in the 90s, though, did they have a did comic book shops start popping up everywhere?
well, I mean, once I moved to Civilization, which was after I graduated high school, then I was like, oh yeah, now I'm starting to see comic book stores. And yeah, it was really like early '90s that I was like, oh crap, you can go to a place and they have like all the comics
Yeah.
and you can actually look through. And it was the days of the hunt when we
They were
like
the
what we do
best.
with Physio and Mini, we just like boxes and boxes of 50-cent comics and you could just look for what you were missing. And
Yeah,
I miss those days, man. I
I
miss
do too. I
and
do
I miss
too.
that with physical media too. We don't get that
Yeah,
with movies very much anymore. But it's something that's just kind of lost.
yeah. Because in the 90s, I mean, in my area, you could throw a rock and hit a comic book store. They just popping up left and right. Everybody thought you were going to
Yeah.
retire on them. Little did they know.
Hey, Rev's on the show.
What's up, Rev? How you doing?
What's up,
I don't
Rev?
got my comments on here.
I can't display them. You just click on it
Uh,
and it'll show since I'm not the host. There it is.
how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us on
Good
our
to see you,
first
Rev.
episode of Comic Talks. So I have some questions for you, David.
All right.
And so the first one is we kind of talked about it a little bit. What was your first comic you remember reading?
Yeah, because the Alzheimer's is starting to set in, so I don't remember. I don't remember that far back, but I do remember um, the X-Men comics was probably the first because you got just when you kind of right. Thanks, bro. He's digging the shirt. He's feeling the power cosmic. It's right there. Um, but the uh but no, like X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, things like that.
Yeah.
Those were my first, and I got to like X-Men before I got to know the Avengers. So the X-Men was probably the first like team, and we're talking the original X-Men,
Yeah.
like, and that's Beast, Angel, Cyclops, Jean Grey, the original Beast without the blue fur,
Yeah. Before, yeah.
before the
Just the
blue
big old
fur.
hands and big old
Yeah,
feet.
and when Angel was just beep, he's just wings, and that's it.
And the
Um,
lame costumes, too.
yeah. Oh,
They were terrible.
horrible costume.
But
Uh,
hey, it's a sign of the
but
times.
hey, it's a sign of the times. But yeah, that was the first team, and I was like, and I was a Cyclops guy. I always dug Cyclops. He wasn't the most
Me too.
powerful, but he was the leader. He was the one that kind of like, okay, I'm going to strategize with all these guys that are way more powerful than me, but I'm the one that's kind of guiding them and showing them what to do. He was also kind of a prick, and I was down with that.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, and then Professor X, smartest
Of
person on the
course.
planet. Professor X was awesome. Um, but yeah, I think that was the first one I remember reading was the
Yeah.
original X Men.
For me, I vaguely remember an old Fantastic Four comic. I don't know why it's sticking in my head. I just remember seeing Thing, and I think it was the Mole Man, or maybe it wasn't the Mole Man. Maybe it was Doctor Doom. I don't know. I just remember a Fantastic Four comic. But yeah, that's the first one I remember reading, and
Hmm.
that was before, like, before you. I'm an X-Men guy. I didn't like the. I'm real not a. Let me start over. I am not an Avengers guy. I mean,
Yeah,
I like the comics. I appreciate the comics now, but it's always been the X-Men, the mutants. Like you said, Cyclops is my favorite.
yeah.
Dick,
Oh, good.
but
Oh, yeah.
uh,
He was a prick, but
yeah, but his character, but he was a dick, but he was also kind. You know what I
yeah,
mean? He's a blend of both.
yeah.
So I dug that, and then of course everybody likes Wolverine,
Everybody
but
likes
I
Wolverine.
dug Magneto too. I really like Magneto as a villain.
I like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. That was the
Me
first
too.
time that you really got like a bad guy team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, I liked Toad. Toad was so powerful,
I don't like those.
but no, he was so powerful, but he was a coward.
Yeah,
He was such a Daimanuk, which is Tagalog for chicken shit. Um, but he was such a scaredy cat that he was afraid to. I mean, but he was like one of the most powerful guys.
yeah.
I have a what if comic of Toad. Where it's like, what if he like went crazy, like he went off on somebody, and
Oh, I
he
didn't know
beat
they
the
did
X
one.
Men by himself
Oh
in the
wow,
comic book. Yeah, he was
is
bad.
that from the '80s?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
80s, late 80s, early 90s.
yeah. I'm
But yeah, I used to. That was one of the ones I used to collect was the What If series. They're really cool.
Oh yeah, they would have some interesting stories, and you can tell a story in one issue, and you get a one and done, which
Yeah,
nowadays doesn't happen.
yeah,
Um, Everything's
yeah. It
made for
was
the trade, but
exactly. It
then,
was definitely more episodic to where you
hmm
could, and that's why you were on the, you know, you're on that wheel, and you just grabbed whatever comic, and that comic told the whole
yep,
story. You didn't have to go, oh crap, I need all 7 parts of to get to get that storyline, and that's what you have now. But you have that access now
yeah,
to where you
you
can
do,
get that storyline
yeah,
and
because you got Marvel
cross.
Unlimited,
Exactly. You got all those
digital,
other ones. Yeah.
but yeah,
Those are awesome. I'm a fan of them. Uh, but yeah, I still miss I miss I miss the ink.
I do too.
Miss the smell.
I love new
I
comic
miss
books.
opening it. I miss taking it out of the sleeve and just
Yep,
I miss the just
yeah,
getting my hands on it. And it's kind of the same way with physical media. I
yeah,
prefer the disc. Even
I do
though
too.
there's nothing wrong with digital, and in a lot of cases the digital quality is even better than the disc quality, but I like the disc in hand. It's like
Me
I
too.
can't read a Kindle. I've got to have the book. Give me the hardback book over the Kindle any day. And it just, I think just lends to how old I am, I think.
Yeah, like we said, there's not like when you find okay, when you find out, hey, the new Spider-Man issue is coming out, man, I would rush to 7-Eleven, hope to goodness I got there before anybody else,
Hmm.
spin that bad boy, okay, okay, and then boom,
Looking for
you
that.
find it.
Yeah, to see if it came in. Man, and I just remember those, the comic store days when you'd go there. I mean, you'd come in, and once the owner got to know you, they'd save the ones
Yep,
that you
pull
liked.
list.
They'd
Yeah.
get you to get the pull list, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, here's my list, and
Yeah.
they would have it. So whenever something came in, they would go through, save it for you, and you'd come in and you'd get your comic books on Wednesday, and it'd be like, oh my god. So you get like
Yeah.
your 6 or 7 titles that you all collect, or for me
Rev says
15.
My first comic was Wolverine issue 5, and still got it, dude. Them
That's good, man.
Wolverine books blew up in the '90s, man. Everybody, Wolverine
Well,
was almost in every Marvel book because his character, him and Venom, really took off. So yeah, hold on to that, man. You never
yeah,
know. Your
yeah,
daughter might end up liking it, Rev.
but yeah, Wolverine, shoot, real popular. I not
Yeah,
Wolverine was never my favorite character, and I think because he was so popular that he was all over the place.
yeah,
So, but I liked him. He was still
yeah.
fun to
He was
read.
a cool character.
But I'd have to say of the Wolverine incarnations, I like Old Man Logan the best. Um,
Awesome pick.
but
I
because
like.
that was when the healing factor was starting to fail him and things were starting to go downhill for him, and that's why I love the Logan movie. It was really
Yes,
spot on
great.
for what I pictured the comic book.
Um, I think my favorite version of Wolverine is after X-Men 20. Is it X-Men 25 when Magneto rips out his adamantium,
Mm.
and he has to deal with being
And he has to deal
vulnerable.
with the bone claws and all that. Yeah, I remember
Hmm.
that.
I really dug that. Yeah, that's my
That
favorite
I
version.
love that issue. That was
Fantastic.
when Magneto just went,
Yeah, and you're like,
and it was
oh
like,
shit.
oh crap!
Had
I
the holographic card on the cover.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh, dude. Yeah,
I think
I
I still
remember
have
that
that
issue.
book, and I have
I
it
remember that
signed
issue.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go on to question number 2.
Cool.
What is your favorite character and why? I knew
My
this one.
favorite my favorite character is the Silver Surfer. Um and it's just it's kind of weird. Never really knew the character at all, but I was 16 years old and I on the spinning rack I found Silver Surfer number 22, I think it was, and pulled it off the rack, and basically the whole episode was it was the Korean Skull
Oh yeah,
War, and they were going at like two armadas in space going at each other. Silver Surfer got caught in the middle of it, and he destroyed both armadas
nice.
without even. It was like, you guys really want to fight me? And then I was like, oh crap, I got to know more about this dude. So I researched him and found out all about Galactus and the Heralds and all that kind of stuff. Definitely, yeah. Silver Surfer is my favorite, and that's why I just randomly picked a Silver Surfer comic book off this rack and was hooked ever since.
That's great. Um, I'll be honest with you. I am not familiar with Silver Surfer very much at all. I am not into Marvel Cosmic at all.
I
I
know we talked about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird that it's just something I have never gravitated to. I tried. They relaunched Guardians of the Galaxy at the time of the movie came out. I tried it. I was a big fan of the writer, big fan of the artist, but it just didn't work for me. I
mm,
don't know what it is about the Marvel Cosmic. It's just hard for me to connect to. DC Cosmic is a little bit better for me, and I don't know why. It just is.
interesting.
But it's funny when you go back to that spinner rack because that's a point in time that we will never see that again. And then when
No,
you just happen to grab Silver Surfer off there, and who knew that would be the character that you
yeah,
um,
that
would
I would
love,
just
fall in
yeah.
love.
Oh man, God, I should show you all the stuff I've got for Silver. It's just yeah, it does anything Silver Surfer. I'm in. I even uh I even have the CD for Joe Satriani, and the title of the CD is "Surfing with the Alien," and it's got the Silver Surfer on the cover.
The guitar player, right?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
I
awesome.
never heard of the guitar player. I bought the CD
Yeah,
because it had Silver Surfer on the cover, but it's a great CD. The music is awesome. And now I'm a Joe Satriani fan, um, but yeah, it's just anything Silver Surfer. I've got tons of stuff, and it's really hard to find like shirts
yeah.
of Silver Surfer. It's really hard to find.
Wait till they get Marvel and Disney do this, bring him into the Fantastic Four. You're gonna see all kinds of Silver Surfer shit all over the place.
Yeah,
You'll be able to walk into
I'm
Walmart and be
down
like,
for that. I'm
yeah,
down for that. Just like I had to wait till 2012 to get all my Seattle Seahawks stuff because that's when they won the Super Bowl.
Right?
Then I got Seahawks stuff.
That's funny.
So I know I'm patiently waiting. I had a shot because when X-Men Origins Wolverine came out, they said if that movie does well, they were going to do an origin story for Silver Surfer.
I think I remember people
Yeah.
talking about that.
But
And
unfortunately, X-Men Origins Wolverine didn't do so
we don't
well.
talk about one. We don't
No.
talk about
We don't talk about Bruno. And
hmm Yeah.
but
I
and we don't talk
really
about
hope.
Deadpool in that one.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I really hope Marvel and Disney do a good job with him, because you know eventually he'll pop up in the Fantastic Four movie or
Yeah.
a
I
Nova
was
movie
I was
somewhere.
really hoping to see him in Infinity War or Endgame
Yeah, but
because
Marvel,
in the original
right?
Infinity Gauntlet storyline, Silver Surfer is a big part of that.
Yeah, he is.
And
And that's the
so
only way I'm familiar with him is from the Infinity War storyline from the
yeah,
'90s. That's the
yeah.
only.
So and that
I,
I was like, oh man, they could have at least just had him show up or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, my favorite part for him in that storyline was because he absorbed energy.
hmm
And they had him absorb as much energy as he could, and they sent him to Thanos like he was a bomb. He was just supposed to go there and explode. And I used to have a shirt. I have it packed away now because number one, it doesn't fit me. I'm too fat. But um, but I wore the heck out of it, so I don't want to wear it out anymore. And it's basically a picture of him all swole up from absorbing the energy, just massive, and he's screaming, energy coming off of him. It was
Oh, I think
awesome.
I'm
It was a
picturing it.
great
I'm
splash
picturing
page
it. Yeah,
on in the Infinity Gauntlet saga. It was a great splash page where he was just like coming on the cover, just like raw.
yeah.
That was awesome.
I think for me, my favorite character. I mean, I've always been a Spider-Man guy. Of course,
Yep.
I loved when Marvel redid the Ultimate line with Ultimate Spider-Man, um, Ultimate X-Men, the Ultimates. But for me, I think my favorite character is Miles Morales. I
Oh
remember
yeah.
that shirt. Um, when he debuted in the Death of Spider-Man in the Ultimate line, I just connected with him. He's the first Spider-Man of color, and but that doesn't matter because anybody can be Spider-Man. Throw a mask on. They say it even in the Spider-Man movie, anybody can be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I just liked he was a kid. He was unsure of himself. The way he was written, just perfect. So I instantly fell in love with that character, and to this day, my favorite character. I named my son Miles just because of him. So yeah, that's my favorite character.
Yeah.
So
I would have, but I was vetoed. I wanted to name my son Norin Rad after
mhm,
Silver Surfer, but no, I was vetoed. So
and rightfully so.
yeah,
I
no, it's a good idea. Looking back, no, that was probably a bad idea. Um,
right. That's
Norin
funny.
Radlow just doesn't make any sense.
That's funny. Okay, so on to question number 3. Kind of ties in with your favorite character. What is your favorite storyline?
My favorite storyline is called the Herald Ordeal, and we talked about it
hmm
briefly. Um, but the Herald Ordeal is basically the storyline is the newest Herald of Galactus, and his name is Morg. He was basically no conscience at all. So he was finding like, for those of you that don't know what Galactus is the devourer of worlds. So the
Yeah, explain
Herald.
Galactus to everybody. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Galactus's job is he eats planets. That's it. That's all he does. So he goes around until he's hungry, and then he has his Herald, in this case Silver Surfer here, in that case Morg, go and find a planet for him to feed. And then he basically eats the planet and then sustains him for a little while longer, and he can float along and go about his business. So Galactus has, at least as long as I read the comics, Galactus had attempted to destroy Earth 7 times and was defeated all 7 times, or at least driven away or distracted. faked out because it's really hard to beat Galactus. Galactus is like one of the top celestial beings in the Marvel universe. Anyway, so he hires Morg out, gives him the power cosmic, tells him to go find planets. Normally, heralds have a little bit of a conscience. There has to be life on the planet in order to sustain Galactus. You can't give him just like a barren planet or a moon or an asteroid or something like that. It's got to have life on it. So what they do is they try to find something that doesn't have intelligent life or doesn't have very much. So he gets to eat, but it doesn't destroy billions of people in the process. Anyway, Morg didn't care. Morg would find the most inhabited planet he can find and say, "Here you go, dude. You go grub." Um, and that already kind of pissed off the other heralds. But they let it go, let him do his thing. Well, Morg finds the Well of Life. The Well of Life is an ancient place on a planet that basically is a well, and drinking the water from the well gives you an enormous amount of power, like equal to the power cosmic. And already Morg was the second most powerful herald next to Silver Surfer. Galactus made Silver Surfer the strongest, but when Silver Surfer basically challenged him and was one of the people that defended Earth against him, he never made his heralds that powerful again. So until Morg. Well, Morg now is times 2, and he starts destroying planets for himself. So the storyline goes, the Silver Surfer figures this out, confronts Morg. Morg spanks him because he's twice as powerful as Silver
Mm-hmm.
Surfer. Spanks him, sends him on his way. Silver Surfer goes and grabs all the rest of the former heralds, and that's Firelord, Airwalker, Terrax, Nova. I think there was one more, but I can't remember off the
Yeah, I
top of
think
my
that.
head. But anyway, there's like 7 or 8 guys. Brings him in and says, "Dude, we got to gang up on this guy, fight him, and beat his ass and stop him from destroying all these planets." So that's what the Herald ordeal is about. Silver Surfer goes and finding all the rest of the Heralds, getting them to join him, come back, big battle against Morg, and then Galactus gets involved. And I'm not going to tell you how it ends because I want you to read it.
Yeah,
But
I have never read it, so I'm interested to see reading it because the way you describe it, I want to read it. It sounds okay. I want to see how the story ends. I want to see who kicks whose ass, and tell me about the art. How's the art in it?
I like the art. It's like I
It's
said, it's
90s, right?
probably, yeah, it's probably early. It's probably mid 90s, 94, 95 maybe.
Okay.
I have
And
to.
there's a distinct style. You
Yeah,
could
it was
tell.
from, yeah, Silver Surfer Volume 3, episodes 70 to 75, I think, if I remember
Yeah,
right.
we did look this up. Yeah, you're
We
right.
did look this up.
Yeah.
I can't remember the date on it. I can't remember the year on those, but basically, yeah, I'm sure it's somewhere between 93 and 95.
Yeah. Because that time
Um,
frame, there is a very distinct style.
mhm.
Um, Big tits, big bulky
I was gonna
guy.
say the style is Rob Liefeld,
Yeah.
um, because everybody wanted to draw like
Yeah.
Rob Liefeld. That was
And I
the
don't. I mean, I
I'm
like him
he
personally. I've met
I,
him. Nice
I
guy. I don't like his art style
I know he can't do feet. I don't know. It's just
or hands or
or
faces.
hands. He just it's kind of I he did he did a I know he because he went to Image Comics with Todd McFarlane,
Yeah.
and he did a team, and I can't remember the team's name off the top of
Young
my
blood.
head. I think it was Youngbloods.
Yeah, it's young blood.
Did somebody say big tits? Now we're talking. That's right. But yeah, it was all boobs and muscles and that's what it was about. And I think the guys had boobs too, so
Yeah,
just
they
be
did. They're terrible.
warned.
He did this terrible. It's
He did
infamous
this.
Captain
Yeah,
America
it was
side
all.
view.
It
Yeah,
was
he
all.
was.
It was all. Say it with your chest. It was
Yeah,
all.
it was terrible.
Um. Yeah,
It
it
was really
was.
bad.
It was really bad. I mean, but he was the he was the shit. Like, no pun intended. I'm sorry for being French about it, but he they loved him. They worshipped him. He
Yeah,
was
I
like
don't get it.
king. He was King Ding, and it was. I was like, man, I didn't understand it, but I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and read the stuff, and I liked it. But yeah, his art never really struck me like that.
No. And
But
to be
everybody
honest, his
everybody tried to
writing
copy it.
wasn't that good either.
Yeah,
I
but I have
wasn't
to
a
say,
fan of his image books.
yeah, no, I me neither. I did like Youngbloods. Um, but I love the fact that because Shatterstar was kind of involved
Yeah,
there.
he's kind of rip off in
It
there.
was kind of rip off in there.
Yeah. Hmm.
But anyway, uh, what I liked about the Herald Ordeal, and I just like that period of how they drew it, because the ones that weren't trying to be like Rob Liefeld, they it was actually a little bit simpler, and the action looked better, and I don't know. Um, Something about the stuff I'm reading now is like, wow, it's crazy design. I love it.
Hmm.
But, the panels were a little bit simpler to go through and things like
Yeah,
that. It was just, I don't know, it was just a simpler read.
it was.
Um,
You said it 100% right. A
yeah,
simple read. Design, the panel layout, page layout,
yeah,
the flow, the
yeah,
splash pages. They were
yeah.
um, the '90s was very splash pagey
Yes.
because of the Rob Liefelds, the Todd McFarlanes, the Jim Lees, the
Yeah,
Mark
because they want that
Silvers. Yeah.
that big
Hmm.
scene, that big
See,
bam
and
in
the
the beginning.
art took precedence over the story.
Yes.
That's one reason I'm not a big fan of '90s comics, because it was all about the art, and there was no substance to the art. It was just,
Yeah.
hey, look at these great poses, look at these big guns, look at these big tits. Um, yeah, it just because they used to do these.
and
The
then
art was
and then you,
fantastic.
and then you look at the dialogue and it's like, pow, and you're like,
Yeah,
really?
they used to do
Um,
terrible swimsuit issues. I never understood that.
I don't
I
even get
never.
that. I don't get. I never touched those. Like,
Yeah,
what? I mean, although
yeah,
Rogue in a swimsuit was pretty nice. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna leave that there.
yeah,
Rogue was the sexiest
yeah.
of the
I liked
swimsuit.
Rogue. I
I
liked
li- I liked
Rogue
Rogue. Rogue's power was
after
great. I
after
liked how
Kevin ended the
she'd
show.
just fly and she had that pose, and I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, okay,
But
I could be a comic book character.
yeah.
It's fine.
So we're going to move on to question number 4.
Yeah,
If you had to pick one publisher to read for the rest of your life, couldn't read any other publisher, what would that be?
it would still be Marvel. It's not. Um,
And I totally get that. That's a great pick.
yeah, it's it's one of the two bad boys on the block, because you got Marvel, you got DC, and then you got everybody else.
Yeah,
There's
100% agree.
Yeah. So I've always been a Marvel guy. I do like my DCs, but if I had to just pick one to read forever, it'd be Marvel, because I'm already in like 90% Marvel.
Yeah, you're a Marvel guy. You know, getting to know you like I have, you're definitely a Marvel zombie. You really are.
I am.
And that's, I
In
mean that as a
fact,
compliment. I don't mean that.
in fact, I have Marvel zombies right here.
That's
Right
awesome.
here. Zombie
Uh,
Silver Surfer right here.
that's nice. That's nice. For me, I'm gonna go with Image Comics, just
Image is great.
because they're creator owned, and there's no limit with what Image can do. Marvel, you have to check in with Disney, because Disney owns Marvel.
Yeah.
Disney hasn't like put a limit. I mean, not a limit. I'm trying to say it right. They haven't reined Marvel in, if that makes sense yet. Um, but you never know. You don't. I don't know. You don't know how CEOs are going to react to certain things, and they be like, "Hey, you can't
Hmm.
do that here." But with Image, everything's creator owned. You have everything from zombie books like The Walking Dead, and then you
Love
have
Walking Dead.
me too. I still need to watch the series finale. Then you
Me too.
have
I'm sitting there with the last 8 episodes are sitting on my DVR. I haven't touched it because I'm like I was waiting until everything was done, and then I was just gonna binge it.
Then you got superhero books like
Yeah.
Invincible, Radiant Black. Then you have crime comics, just horror comics. You have there's just so much in Image that I love. So I think my answer is going to be Image Comics for me.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, I mean,
Like I love Marvel. Marvel's
I
going to be my second, and then
yeah.
DC.
Once I mean, as we start getting through this, I mean, because I'm really excited to start reading storylines from other comics.
I'm excited to introduce you to some shit that I want
Oh,
you to.
absolutely. And there's not a lot that I can introduce you to, but if I can introduce you to Marvel Cosmic, I will
Mm-hmm.
definitely do that because I've always been a fan of that. Um,
Yeah,
but then yeah, I've got some stuff. But yeah, it's just I'm excited to introduce you to some stuff, and I'm excited to read some new stuff. I think
yeah,
it's going to be great. And who knows? Maybe after we're done with our first year's episode, that maybe I change my tune and I start thinking
yeah.
Image
You never
Comics.
know, man.
Or I used to be a big Dark Horse fan. I used to like Dark Horse comics, um, especially the Dark Knight and things like that, because they had a real dark version of Batman that was cool back in the '90s.
I've
And
never been a Dark Horse fan. I knew something
yeah,
about it.
it's just it's one of those. I think it was when I was brooding and in college, and it was just kind of like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
Well,
even
about that
call.
time, Dark Horse
I'm
was the go-to
Yeah,
alternative to DC and Marvel because
yeah.
there really wasn't anything.
Yeah, because
You
it
were
was
putting
just
out
they just
Hellboy,
had just darker versions. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Hellboy, and like I said, they had a
Star
real
Wars.
they had just this real grit about them, and it
Mm-hmm.
was
Yeah.
I'd have to say it was the closest thing I was to getting emo, and I never really fully got there, but I was reading Dark Horse comics and I was writing poetry, and it was kind of that period.
Emo Dave.
Emo Dave, as opposed to Dave After Dark, which is nobody
We
wants
don't
to see
talk
that.
about Dave After
We don't
Dark.
tape.
I don't have
That's
anything
saved for the
for Dave After
lowdown.
Dark.
If you want Dave After Dark, go to the lowdown. Our next
That's
show is on the
awesome.
28th. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's the Fs.
It's the Fs.
It's the Fs.
Yep, I got finished with the scoring on that.
Did
So
you?
yep, I finished
Um,
the movies that I hadn't seen that you gave me.
so, question 5: what's more important to you, art or the story?
It's got to be the story. I am a huge propensity of the story, and I I'm a writer myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually wrote a comic book that I've never seen, but I wrote for a comic book. It was called Lord Ralston Miles, and it was a UK based comic. And basically, what it was kind of like a James Bond, Laura Croft, Indiana Jones cross.
Oh
It was
wow.
this British dude, and kind of like a British Laura Croft, only it was like James Bond. And they basically had me write a a 4-page, because it was like an introduction storyline. So I wrote a 4-page intro, just wrote it, and panels and splash, and basically wrote the script for it.
Mm-hmm.
Sent it to them, and they said, "Great, write 4 issues." So I wrote 4 issues of the comic book, and then never heard from him again. So that was
You get
done.
paid?
Huh? No,
Did you? Oh
didn't get
damn.
paid. I did it for free. The deal was that if it like went through and they got like a huge contract, then I'd be paid to write it. But it was just they did it for an anthology, and it worked. They wanted 4 issues. I wrote 4 issues. They did that, and then that was it.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
um, but yeah, I don't know if the 4 issues were ever published. But yeah, it was called Lord Ralston Miles was his
Love it.
name. And yeah, basically I wrote it like an Indiana Jones meets James Bond was basically
That's
how I
pretty
wrote
cool.
it. So it was all clues and mysteries and stuff like that. And then he was doing he had all kinds of crazy gadgets, and it was pretty fun. But going back to the question, I'm more story than art, because anybody can draw a picture. Well, actually, not anybody can draw a picture. It takes a lot of talent to draw a picture, and I'm not knocking that. But I've got to have dialogue. I've got to have a storyline. Give me
Yep.
narration. I want all that stuff. I want to be able to read and feel what's going on. I don't
Yeah.
want to just have to get it from the picture. I want to get it from the words.
Yeah,
And
because
so
if it's just art, comics are expensive nowadays. If you go
yeah.
buy a brand new comic off the shelf, it's $5, $7, something, all the way up to
Hmm.
$10. And if it's not a good story and it's just all just pretty pictures, to me, it's not worth the money at all. Yeah, but again, I'm with you. For me, it's the story. It has to be the story to suck me in because that's what's going to keep me coming back month after month. Is the story. If you're just, we'll go back to Rob Liefeld. If you're just tits and guns, your book ain't gonna last very long. Not at
You're
all.
gonna make a lot of money right off the bat, but
Yeah,
no
ain't
one's
gonna
gonna
last.
stick with it. Um,
Yeah. So okay, we got one more question, and it's I call it the bonus question, but I think I already know the answer to your question. What comic book property would you like to see made into a TV show or a movie?
it's Silver Surfer. What they did for Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer was a joke.
100%
Um,
agree.
uh, I was so upset when I saw because I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, we're gonna get Silver Surfer and we're gonna get Galactus and it's gonna be awesome. No,
Loud.
no, it it blew. I was so mad,
Yeah.
and so people thought that the Silver Surfer was a joke.
What's up,
Um,
Jay? Movies and media. I agree. He's
I
sorry.
think yeah, I agree with the art and story. There should be
This,
a balance. There should
yeah,
absolutely be a balance. But
yeah,
a lot of people think it's all about the artwork,
yeah,
and there really has to be a story to go with it.
yeah.
So
There's there is there are artists out there that can because there's been few issues where I think Nightwing's the last one that I read where it was
okay,
written by Tom Taylor, fantastic writer, one of the best writers DC has right now. He wrote an issue, and I wish I could name the artist off it. He's a fantastic artist too. No dialogue in it whatsoever, but the story he told with the art was fantastic. Um, no, remember, no words. It's
hmm,
all pictures, and it was a great issue.
cool.
Oh, sorry, we got sidetracked here. And he says, "Yes, I think that would be interesting." Talking about Silver Surfer,
I
right?
think probably talking about Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
I just when they were talking about an origin movie for Silver Surfer when X-Men Origins Wolverine came out, Doug Jones was slotted to play Silver Surfer, and he was
Mm-hmm.
basically the same guy he was
Hey,
Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four too.
was
Um,
he Abe Sapien in Hellboy?
yes,
Okay, that's what I thought.
yeah, he does that. He's very double jointed and stuff, so he's all
Oh yeah.
weirdly flexible. He's in Star Trek Discovery now as
Oh, is he?
the yeah as Saru, and he's again just really tall, huge makeup, and looks like this monster, but he's awesome. Um, and I really can't see him. I can't see him doing that now because he's getting up there in years.
Yeah.
But I would love to see a Silver Surfer movie. Guardians of the Galaxy, they've proved that it works in space.
Mm-hmm.
I think a
Oh,
Silver Surfer
perfect.
movie in space, galactic, a cosmic movie with Silver Surfer, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. You know who would make it? This came to my mind. Andy Serkis. He did the apes in was it Planet of the Apes, War of the Apes, or
Hmm.
whatever the ape movies. I think he'd be great because he's great at motion capture. He did great with what is that? Oh, hi. She looks tired.
Is it almost bedtime?
How
Hmm?
you doing? She can't
You
hear
say
me.
hi? No. You say hi?
Hi.
Oh, she didn't say. She's dropping down. Yeah, she's.
He's like, I'm peacing out.
I'm out.
No, but I think a Silver Surfer movie would be great.
Yeah.
I could even see them, even though the string their track record right now for movie or TV shows isn't the greatest. I could see them maybe doing a serialized 6-part Silver Surfer TV show, which I think would
Oh,
be,
I'd go for that. I'd go
yeah,
for that. Absolutely.
yeah, I
A,
could see them
a
doing it.
series would be cool because they really need to
Hmm.
show the whole origin of
Yeah,
the Silver Surfer, not just because they usually show it in just parts. Like the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer was, it just showed him coming to Earth and then changing his mind and then turning around and
yeah,
fighting Galactus off. But the real origin comes from Zenla, which is the planet that he's from,
hmm,
and how he talked Galactus into saving his home world and
yeah.
becoming his herald. Um, because he didn't have any powers. Norrin Rad was just a regular dude.
No.
And he flew up in his hovercraft and he's like, "Hey, spare my planet and I'll be your guy. I'll go find
Yeah,
planets for you."
right.
You know, and so Galactus is like, "All right, cool, we'll do that." And then Galactus went boop, and then in place of giving him the power cosmic, took away Norrin Rad's conscience. So for 1,000 years, Silver Surfer was just going around finding planets full of
Hmm.
life because he had no qualms. He
Yeah.
basically took that away, took that little voice in his head saying this is wrong, and buried it. And it wasn't until he got to Earth that his mind changed, and the actual person of Silver Surfer merged with Norrin Rad and became that character. And it wasn't, for you people who only seen the Fantastic Four movie, it was not Sue Storm who changed his mind. It was the blind girl who was in love with the Thing,
Oh, Alyssa
played
Masters.
by Kerry Washington
Yeah.
in Fantastic Four 2. It was the blind girl that was the one that gave him his conscience back because she just
Good
talked to
for
him
her.
like a normal person. She had no idea who he was. And then they were just talking on a rooftop, and Silver Surfer was like, "You remind me of my wife." And then boom, everything clicked, and he
Yeah.
was like, "This planet's got to be saved."
See, I think a great 6-part Disney Plus series, Silver Surfer's origin, and then kick off, and then take it from there, and then go to a movie. So you have his origin already told,
Yeah,
and then boom, take off.
I I can see that. That would be good, and that would
Yeah.
get more exposure because you do the series on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody and their mom has Disney Plus, so
Everybody and their mom has Disney Plus. I have Disney Plus,
yeah,
and so have a 6-part series with him. People get to know the character, and then yeah, they'll be like, "I'll be down for a movie."
yeah. I think
But it's
that's a great choice.
not one of the mainstream guys. So if they just spit out a movie right now, people go, "You mean the guy from Fantastic Four 2?"
Yeah, the general populace don't know who Silver
Yeah,
Surfer is,
yeah.
so
But
nerds
the
like
comic
us, we know
book
who.
is on Disney Plus. I'm not the comic book, but the cartoon of
Oh, it
Silver
is.
Surfer is on Disney Plus. So if you guys get a chance to check that out,
Yeah,
check
I
that
have
out
not seen that.
because
Um,
that I loved that series and it was from the '90s. But
oh wow.
I love that series and
Is
it's
it?
like I think it's like 6 or 8 parts or something like that. But great
Oh wow, I didn't
stuff.
even know that.
Yep,
For me, I think I'm gonna go with Nailbiter. Nailbiter
that's
is
interesting.
one of my favorite comic books from Image Comics. It is the tale of the city, I think it's a Seattle or Washington area, where it spawned the most serial killers. I think it's per capita. They had the most serial killers in the United States come out of this one town, and one of the most prolific one was the serial called the nail biter. He would kill you if he saw you chewing your nails or if you had chewed up nails, and that's how he picked his victims out. Well, I don't want to spoil it. It's just a fantastic serialized book. I think it went 2 volumes. Yeah, it's went 2 volumes. I would love to see that picked up by like an Amazon or I don't want a movie because you can't tell this story in a movie. I want Amazon to do it because what they're doing with the boys is fantastic.
I like the
I would love to
boys.
see Amazon pick up Nailbiter and tell like 2 or 3 seasons
Hmm.
of this story. because it
Yep.
is fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got I've got two more, but J Movies and Media ask a question, so I thought
Oh, I
you'd
didn't
throw
even
that
see
up
it.
there.
Thank you. Says, has there ever been? Wait, has there ever been a big Superman cartoon series? I asked because I was just wondering if a Superman cartoon series could follow every Superman comic plot because there's some cool stuff that could be done. There was a really good Superman animated series done by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, I think. I think it's called Superman Adventures or Superman. It followed right after Batman animated series. It's done in that style, and it was very good. I think it ran 2, 3 seasons. But if you have not seen that, definitely check it out. I think Superman's been around 80 years. He's been around forever, and there's some great stories that could be told um, in animated form. DC does a great job with their animated movies. They have a new universe called the Tomorrowverse, where they kicked it off with a Superman story, and
Hmm.
it was fantastic. They did Death in Return of the Superman animated movie, which was great too. If you haven't seen that, check that out. Yeah, there's so many Superman stories. We'll need a whole other hour to talk about Superman stories.
Yeah, that might be a storyline that we pick to
Yeah,
go through. Because yeah, I was a huge fan of the whole Doomsday series. I
yeah,
I I
me
really
too.
like that storyline.
That's
And
heyday.
then yeah, and then when he died, quote unquote,
Yeah, quote unquote.
and then Steel and the other Superman show up in his place,
Mm,
and they're trying to be like, "Oh, is he Superman?" And you're like, "No, dude, that's Steel."
yeah,
But it's just that was a cool storyline how they played that out until
yeah,
Superman came back. It was pretty awesome. I enjoyed that storyline a lot.
yeah.
But
J
I have
movies. And,
two more that I'd like
okay,
to
go ahead, man.
see TV series of movies. Something I would like to see another movie done of Spawn. Um, give me something. I liked Michael J. White's Spawn, but I would like to see another Spawn movie, one that's done better with the special effects we have now.
Well, they're
I
actually
think,
working with one.
yeah,
Todd McFarlane keeps talking about it. It's got Jamie Foxx attached to it, which I think
yeah,
he would do a good job. That's
I
how
think that would
simple.
work. I think that would work.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of coming true.
That's kind of coming true. And then the other one is Faust, and that's a kind of a horror comic. I can't remember the publication that put it out,
I don't.
but
I'm not
I
familiar with it.
yeah, I have the entire series,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's demonic and supernatural and stuff like that. Like if Constantine was really dark. would be would be like it'd be like the opposite of Constantine's fighting demons. It'd be like told from the demon's point of view. That's what Faust is.
Oh, wow.
But it was a great read. The dialogue was awesome in there, but the artwork was very grotesque. It was very violent.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not familiar with that.
but it's a great storyline.
I think that's it for the question. So I decided at the end of every episode, we're gonna give each gonna give a recommendation.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go first with my recommendation, and it's a book from Image Comics. I see I'm a huge Image Comics fan,
Hmm.
and that's gonna be Paper Girls. This just recently did one season on Amazon. I love the show because I absolutely love this book. Um, it's by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang. Oh, the art in this is fantastic. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but this is art in it is
Oh yeah, that's
great.
neat.
Yeah, great art about a group of girls. What else? The Paper Girls. It's a sci-fi book. Some
Hmm.
shit goes down. I don't want to spoil it because it's fairly new. Um, but yeah, go check it out. Go check out the Amazon series. It's one season. It got canceled, and it's not going to get shopped around. That sucks. But go watch it. It's a great series. Pick up this book. You can get it for the first trade is $10, and it collects issues. I think 1 through 7, 1 through 6. $10, great deal. If you
Yeah,
haven't read Paper Girls, go read it. Dave, what's your recommendation?
cool. My recommendation, and goes back to Silver Surfer. Huge Silver Surfer fan. So my recommendation is a book series called Annihilators. And what this is the team of Gladiator, Quasar, Beta Ray Bill, Ronan the Accuser, and Silver Surfer. And basically, a rift opens up in a dark nebula, and the dire wraiths come through. So they have to fight the dire wraiths.
Oh, wow. I am not familiar with that.
But
So
so this is like the ultimate cosmic team. So
oh, yeah.
Beta Ray Bill basically has Thor's hammer. So if you're not familiar with
Yeah.
Beta Ray Bill was a person from another planet that when Thor lost his hammer and became unworthy,
Mm-hmm.
Odin made another hammer and gave it to Beta Ray Bill because he was worthy. So he
Yes.
kind of became the new Thor for a while.
Yeah. He had his own comic series too, I think.
Yeah, he had his own comic book
Yeah.
series. And then, of course, Ronan the Accuser. If you've ever seen that first Guardians of the Galaxy, Ronan the
Yep.
Accuser is right there.
Yeah.
And he's a cosmically powerful dude.
Yeah.
This
He's
is it
Cree.
without the Infinity Gem. Um, Quasar, and
Yep.
that's the guy right here. He is basically the Marvel cosmic version of Green Lantern.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
So basically, he has what's called the quantum bands,
Mm-hmm.
and basically he projects light out of him, and he can change it to any form he wants. So he can basically
Yeah.
do with light what Green Lantern did with the Power Ring, right?
Yeah. Movie
And
Hunter
then,
2020 just joined us. Says, "Hey guys, I'm sorry I'm late. I will catch the replay. Hey man, just thank you for popping in.
yep.
We really appreciate it.
And he's also really smart because he says Silver Surfer
Surfer
is the
is the
greatest.
greatest." And then J Movies and Media. When you're done, tell me, David, who's on your shirt? And thanks.
Oh, okay. So who's on my shirt is Galactus and the Silver Surfer.
That's great. I like that. Speaking of Galactus, are you familiar with Marvel did Ultimates Volume 4, Volume 5 takes place in the regular Marvel universe, and it's takes place in space, like outside Earth, like in the orbit of Earth. They were guarding the Earth, whatever, but they turned Galactus back into his original form of a life bringer instead of um, eating
And
planets. He was creating planets. Are you
oh
familiar with
no,
that story?
no, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. It was.
I'm
I dug
interested.
it. It was. I think it was. I'll have to look it up and send it to you
Yeah.
because I dug it. It was a quick little storyline. Of course, they revert him back to what he was.
Hmm.
But hey, I think I need to read that because you described it.
You should.
Um,
It's awesome.
I think maybe next episode I'm gonna read it before the next episode, and we're gonna dive deep into Annihilators. That's gonna be our next episode. We're gonna talk Marvel Cosmic. Dave's gonna pop my cherry on this book. So
With this, did no,
yeah, he's gonna talk me right out of my pants with that.
talking right
And
talking right out of his pants. Um,
and
but
maybe do
yeah,
a
no,
full
let's
take.
do it. That sounds
Yeah.
great. I'll go in there and reread that again for the 15th time. And but yeah, I bought this in 2010, and basically all my comics now are stored away.
Hmm.
Um, but this stays on my shelf, and I always grab it from time to time and just read through it.
And that's a sign of a good story.
It's
If you've read
fun.
it 15 times,
It's a good
yeah.
story. And then in the back of this thing, it's 4 issues, I think, if total for the storyline. But then there's another comic book in the back of this, and it's Rocket Raccoon and Groot
Yeah,
doing some antics. So that's kind of cool. Oh, and just so you can see some of the artwork on this,
it's nice.
it's pretty good. I
Yeah.
really dig.
I like the flow of the panel on that one.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
really good
I'm looking
stuff.
forward to reading that.
Nice artwork.
It's like what, four
Um,
or five issues, right?
Yeah, it's 4 issues. There's 5 issues in here, but there's 4 issues for the
Yeah, that's
Annihilators
what I thought.
storyline. And I think there's a second Annihilator storyline that I haven't read.
Oh,
which I'd be interested in going through too. I
see,
might
that
check
takes
that out.
place and I was Andy Lanning and these two writers took over Marvel Cosmic and did this
Hmm.
huge story called the Annihilation Wave.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we got Movie Hunter on here. Ollie's Bargain Outlet always has super omnibus of tons of different comic lines at great prices. Yeah, if you can find those omnibuses cheap, pick them up
Hmm.
because and we got sex bots. The first episode
You
I
made
saw.
it. It's our first episode.
Yeah,
You did
um,
it.
yeah, blocked
All that
user.
talk of boobs and guns finally got him.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna go a little bit. I had like 20 some long boxes, like 10 short boxes back in the heyday of my collecting.
Hmm.
Started having kids, didn't have room, needed the money, sold a lot of them. And then I'm going to collect trades and hardcovers. And those trades and hardcovers, that's Quasar.
That's Quasar.
I like that art.
It's a badass.
I do.
Um, and incidentally, so the Guardians of the Galaxy that I used to collect was from the 31st century.
Oh, wow.
And so it was, Charlie 27, and there was no Rocket or Groot or anything like that. Vance Astro was the leader. And he actually found Captain America's shield in the 31st century, and he became Major Victory.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, but the Silver Surfer shows up in the 31st century, and he's got the quantum bands from Quasar.
Oh, wow.
So his name's changed to the Keeper, and basically he's badass. That's what he
Yeah.
is. But so picture the Silver Surfer with like red robes and the quantum bands. It looks pretty awesome. So I've got that
Hmm.
issue, and I actually have a picture on my desktop
Oh,
of
that's
that.
cool. Movie
So
Hunter
it's awesome.
2020 says, LOL. I don't see that. I blocked them real quick. I usually report and block every one of them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we just put them on timeout, block them, whatever. But yeah, we just got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
They just suck.
Yeah. So I really think that's it for our first issue,
Awesome,
our
good
first
show.
episode of Comic Talk. Thank you, Dave, for letting me interview for the first person to interview. You're the co-host, so I appreciate
Yeah,
you taking the time and doing this with me. We've been talking about it. Finally,
yeah,
got it to come out. Um, got it lined up. I think we're gonna go once a month.
yeah.
But if something comes up really want to talk about, we'll pop in again, maybe
Yeah,
twice a
maybe
month.
we'll go twice a month or
Yeah.
whatever.
But remember,
So,
if you're gonna join us next month, if you can find it cheap, subscribe to Marvel Unlimited. It's $9.99. It's the
mhm,
Netflix of reading Marvel comics. Check out Annihilators because we're gonna read. I'm gonna read it for the first time. He's gonna reread it, and then
mhm,
episode 2, we're gonna be talking Annihilators.
yep.
So, what was you gonna say, Dave?
Oh, I was gonna say that
No,
when
thank
we
you,
have
Movie
our
Hunter.
episode next month, um, I think I don't think we're gonna do it on Mondays, um, but when we pick our episode next month and we talk about this, yeah, we're gonna score it
Oh yeah,
and see what we think about the artwork, the storyline, the
yeah,
characters, all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of anxious to take the lowdown scoring format and put it to this and see how it turns out.
yeah. David is the king of the lowdown because it's his baby. Uh, so I
I
trust
gotta
him.
patent it. I gotta
Yeah,
copyright it or something.
you do because he has the formula down to a T, and it's fun to do. So yeah, so every story going forward that we read, we're gonna do the 4K lowdown on it. So we'll give you guys enough time so you can read it and then score along with us in the chat. Yeah, that's it.
Sounds
Episode
good.
1 done. Thank you again, David, aka the 4K lowdown. Plug your stuff before we get out of here.
Oh yeah, 4K lowdown. I'm on all the books and tubes and grams, but we have our show. Our next show is coming up on Monday for our top 10, and we're going to be do movies that start with F, as in Frank. So that's pretty fun. And then coming up on December 5th, we have our 90s episode to
Mm-hmm.
where we picked 24 90s movies, and we're gonna rank them.
Oof.
Yeah, oof. That's right.
Hey, Movie Hunter has a question for you. Is that book number one? Is that like I think it's just a mini series
Yeah,
told
this
inside
is
of a
just a
bigger event.
yeah, it's just a miniseries, but this is the first book of the Annihilators.
Yeah.
So this is the first.
What's up, Jared? Thank
What's
you
up,
for popping
Jared?
in. Really appreciate it.
But yeah, so
Yeah, if you
yes, it
got
is book number one of
yeah,
the Annihilators, but it's basically it's just a mini series. I think there were two limited series that they did
yeah.
of the Annihilators. It's not like a full on line.
If you have access, you have an iPad, your phone. Um, okay, Amazon has it listed as book one, probably.
Okay, then yeah,
Uh,
that's
how
book one
much is
because
it
there are
on
two
there
books.
on Amazon? Is my question. Because if it's, I'm gonna push it because I love the service, and no way are they sponsoring us. I wish they would. Marvel Unlimited, because it's $9.99 a month, and you get carte blanche of, that's a big word for rich, um, of Marvel comics. And I know for a fact that storyline is on there, and you get access to just thousands and thousands of comics, all Marvel books, Star Wars books, Alien books. So if it's more than $9.99,
Yeah, it
and
says book one of one on Amazon. It's $45.95
what? Are
on
you sure that's
Amazon.
the right one?
Yeah, to buy this book,
That means it's out of print, and it must be
it's
secondary market.
$45.95. Um,
Just
paperback it's
go with the
22.45,
Annihilator.
but Kindle it's $7.
Yeah. So okay, the Annihilators, that book he has right there is is a miniseries told inside of a bigger event called Annihilation, an Annihilation Wave, and I think there's three of them. So
Yeah,
that story he's talking about is a miniseries told within this bigger overarching story,
yeah,
if that makes sense. And he says used 13 plus.
yeah. It was
Again,
13.83
Movie
is the
Hunter,
one I saw for
I'm
used.
gonna push you towards Marvel Unlimited. It's $9.99 a month, and if you wanna, um, I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna speak for Dave, but I have a feeling he's gonna pick um, Marvel stories. So if you want to read along with us, $9.99.
Yeah,
I want you to discover stories too. That
yeah.
and if
I
you find
definitely want to
something you
discover
want to, if you
stories.
guys find something you want us to talk about, hit us up in the comments, man. We would
Oh
love
yeah,
to do that because we're open to anything. We'll
yeah,
read anything, watch anything. Dave's
yeah.
made me watch some fucked up shit. I'm
I'm
still
kind of
scarred.
interested in Nailbiter. I kind of want to check that out.
Oh, Nailbiter is fantastic.
I want to check that
That's
out.
one of my. It is. Oh, I can't wait. We're gonna do a deep dive into Nailbiter at some
Yeah.
point. But you got the first pick for episode 2 of. I like physical though. When it comes, I agree. I totally agree with you, man.
Me
But
too.
I save you some
I
pennies.
got that. I gotta have that. I gotta have the pages. I gotta have it. But no, the 9.99 deal for Marvel Unlimited is
Mhm.
great.
You see
But
what's on there, yeah.
we've found that they don't have everything
Yeah,
because
they don't. They
they
add stuff
they
slowly
they don't have my favorite storyline.
because we
So
look for it.
yeah, we looked for it. They don't have it. So I'm a little disappointed there. But
Yeah, me too. I was surprised.
maybe one day it'll show up.
Yeah. Again, I think this is it for us, man.
Yeah, let's get out of
Thank
here.
you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. I'm gonna throw a link for Dave's stuff in the comment, it's in the description later. Because I forgot. My bad. I'm new at this. David usually
Bro.
puts all this stuff together, and I'm still learning. So thank you again. Um, Remember to hit the like and subscribe, turn your notification on, all that stuff. But above all that, remember, be kind to everyone. Okay. Thank you guys, and peace out.
See ya.
We're still sitting here.